Hey, and welcome to the Deep Resilience Podcast. I'm your host, Melly O'Brien, and in this podcast, along with my weekly newsletter and the Deep Resilience program, we are focusing on one clear goal: translating the best evidence-based tools and the deep wisdom teachings on mental resilience into practical everyday strategies that are accessible to everyone. It is my deep passion to bring you content that breaks down big concepts in ways that make sense to you, but also to make sure I give you tools in each episode that you can immediately use to grow your inner strength and create real positive change in your life and in the world. And hey, if you want to take your inner strength to the next level, be sure to join my newsletter at mellyobrien.com, where you'll receive a whole range of extra benefits, special offers, and bonuses. Let's dive in now to today's episode. Hey friends, with so much anxiety, uncertainty, and unrest in the world right now, I wanted to create something that speaks directly to the heart of what we're all going through right now and offers us a path back to steadiness, peace, strength, and connection. Because our deepest resilience isn't found in the absence of difficulty. It's revealed in the midst of it. What I'm offering in April is 3 things. First of all, this podcast series, 4 episodes under the banner You Are the Calm, to reconnect with your inner strength, peace, and stability. The second is I'm running some free live breathwork and meditation sessions. If you sign up to my newsletter, you'll get the links for all of that. You'll see the notifications coming. And I'm also offering a 5-day course called Calm in Crisis. It starts on May 1st. And so if you're craving deeper support right now, this course offers a 5-day journey designed to help you reset your nervous system, calm your mind, release stress-based patterns, and reconnect with your inner resources so that you can meet whatever's going on in your life with presence and grace and power. You can find all the links for all of those in the show notes. And this isn't a course about pushing through or pretending everything's okay or positive thinking. It's about a deeper kind of resilience. It's about slowing down, resetting your nervous system so that you can let go of the patterns that aren't serving you, that are hindering, hurting you, and reconnecting to your capacity that's already within you with clarity, courage, and compassion. So we begin that journey, Calm in Crisis, May 1st. Again, all the details are in the show notes. I hope all of these offerings are supportive for you. So without further ado, today's episode is about realizing your deepest resilience and how one common misconception can get very much in the way of that. So here's the big challenge. Resilience is not what many people think it is. So if you're going through something really tough right now, if you are going through a crisis, if you're struggling with your mental health, if you're feeling overwhelmed by everything that's happening in the world, you need to hear this episode. It's really important. You know, I've spent my whole career studying and teaching mindfulness and mental resilience. The work has helped over 1 million people around the world and been endorsed by psychologists, neuroscientists, spiritual teachers, and academics. And from this vantage point, I say that to you that this is so important, that what I've seen is one of the most dangerous misconceptions for all of us, is this idea that we all kind of fit into one of 2 of these boxes. You're either mentally well, and that means you're resilient, or you're mentally unwell. Maybe you've had a label put on you to say you have a mental illness, or you just feel like you're mentally not well and therefore you're not resilient. So here's the thing. The truth is that in life, every single one of us is going to move along a spectrum of mental and emotional states. We will all go through phases of grief, anxiety, numbness, fear, sadness. Sometimes that might lead to something that we might call a mental illness. So maybe you go through something really tough and you're in a depression. Maybe there's a grief over something that happened and it's just sticking around a lot longer than you wanted it to, or you go through a period of prolonged stress or something very, very traumatic, and it feels like you're in that as a prolonged state. Yeah. And we also move through peace, joy, connection, hope, strength. All of us in this experience called being human experience the full spectrum of what it is to be human, right? We're often, in the course of a human life, shifting along this spectrum from what we might call mental illness all the way up to extraordinary mental wellness and everything in between, right? So we will have times, and this includes, by the way, there's all of us in the, mindfulness teachers, it includes psychologists, it includes inspiring speakers. All of us shift along this spectrum. Nobody is immune. Not mindfulness teachers, not psychologists. This is the human experience. So the problem comes with this idea that resilience has to do with being mentally well or unwell. Here's the problem: if you see yourself as well and you think of yourself as resilient, but then you hit a patch where your mental health dips, right? And you're in the midst of a crisis, a breakdown, a tough season of your life where you are just not doing so well. You're not feeling so great. In that season of life, you might really start to feel like you've fallen into the other box. And what happens for a lot of us is we feel shame. We judge ourselves for it. We might try to hide it from other people because we think that we're supposed to always be happy, always have it all together, always, act tough and, not show too much vulnerability. You might feel like you're not strong because you're feeling grief that you can't shake after a really hard loss. You might feel like you're stuck in that box now. You might not get the support you actually need if you're worried about being stigmatized, right? You might feel like, maybe you slipped into this other box and now that's your label. That's it. That's who you are. So even if you already have seen yourself as unwell for a long time and you didn't just slip into that box in a tough season, for whatever reason, if you feel that you're in that box and you've got a label, it's very, very easy to feel like there's no way out, or to make it your identity, like you're trapped in that box, like there's something wrong with you, like you're broken. But it's critically important to understand that even if you've been labeled as unwell, or even if you're in the midst of a big crisis, a setback, a hardship in your life, that doesn't define you, and that there are skills that you can use in any situation to access resilience, to access peace, to move yourself towards wellness. So here's the key takeaway. This is the misconception that happens. So resilience is not about being okay or being in either one of those boxes, right? Resilience is not about being in the mentally well box. It's not about never feeling low or grief or depression or anxiety or reactivity. Resilience is the ability to relate to whatever mental state or whatever emotional state is arising, whatever situation is arising, in a way that is helpful, skillful, and empowering. And there are skills that every single one of us can learn. I believe that we should have all learnt these along with our ABCs when we were younger and been practicing them all through school. But these are skills that anyone can learn no matter where they are in life. And when you do use these skills consistently, you relate to your mind, emotions, and life situation in a helpful and a wise and skillful way, then when we can do that, we are able to have a sense of thriving and being a force for positive change no matter what is happening. You're also just naturally, when you use these skills, the skills of deep resilience, I call them, you are able to always keep moving more, just naturally as an outcome of using these skills, you move towards the box of mental wellness again, no matter where you are, no matter what's happening. And then you tend to stabilize in that place for much longer. But resilience isn't about staying in that place forever. It's about just learning to flow with the currents of life as they happen and relating to the hard moments when they come with dignity, compassion, and wisdom. One of my favorite kind of key takeaways from my book, Deep Resilience, basically it's summed up like this. We don't get to choose whether or not our life brings painful, unwanted, or uncertain things, but we always get to choose how we meet it. That is the essence of deep resilience. We're always in control of the two most important factors, according to research, that determine the quality of our life and the state of our mind: our attitude and our actions. So, what is inner strength really? What is resilience really? There are so many misconceptions out there, right? People think that it's about keeping a stiff upper lip, pushing through, acting tough, which is usually actually suppressing your feelings, pretending that everything's okay, or like it's positive thinking. But some people think that it's about never feeling sad, never feeling fear, never feeling anger, always having it together. But true resilience isn't about any of that. What it boils down to, in its bare essence, really is that our deepest resilience is about living from a kind of wisdom. I define deep resilience as the ability to do three things: the ability to manage your thoughts skillfully. Hey, you can't control all of your thoughts, but you can learn to manage them skillfully. You relate to them in a new way. Same thing with your emotions, is the ability to regulate your emotions in healthy and helpful ways. It's not about controlling them all the time. It's about learning to relate to them and regulate them in healthy ways. And the third thing is living according to your values, even when life feels like you're in the middle of a storm. So in its essence, what we're talking about here is where this is the ability to see clearly what is not working, right? What is not helpful. And then unhooking ourselves from the ways of relating to our mind, emotions, and circumstances that are not helpful. And then instead connecting to our inner strengths and values and acting from those strengths rather than from fear, reactivity, and disempowerment. So deep resilience is a practice. It's a skill. We keep choosing again and again. We catch ourselves and we choose again and again to act from our strengths and what helps us rather than from what hinders, hurts, or holds us back. And that foundation of our ability to do that is mindfulness. That's the foundational skill. That's why all of my work is mindfulness-based, because mindfulness is this incredible capacity that we can cultivate that is basically the cultivation of an awareness that is greater than thoughts and feelings, that helps us to step back from thoughts and feelings, notice what's happening, and then choose how we want to respond to it without getting overwhelmed by it. So it helps us unhook from unhelpful thoughts, ground ourselves in an inner calm and stability, and connects us back to the deeper, stronger, wiser part of who we are. So in its essence, true resilience really is a kind of spiritual practice. It's the choosing again and again to connect to that inner strength and to act it out in the world, responding instead of reacting. So even if you've been labeled as unwell, or whatever you're going through right now, you're in the midst of a crisis and you feel like you're really struggling right now, there are skills that you can adopt to relate to your mind, emotions, and situation that are going to greatly reduce your suffering and stress, allow you to feel more peaceful, hopeful, and empowered, and give you the ability to make rapid positive changes in your life situation, guided by your values and strengths. But just remembering that inner strength, this deep resilience, it's not like mental wellness or mental illness. It's not something that you just kind of either have or you don't, you are or you aren't. It's a capacity that every single one of us has, and we can choose it in any given moment, no matter what state you're in, no matter what you're going through. In other words, it's a skill, and it's never too late to learn it. Anyone can learn it. I've never met anyone who couldn't adopt these skills and use them. So it's critical to remember, if you're going through something really tough and you feel like you've been judging yourself, or you're scared to reach out for help, or you were feeling like you were stuck in one of those boxes, just know that feeling depressed, feeling anxious, grieving, or going through a prolonged period of struggle or chronic stress does not mean that you're not resilient, and you're never stuck. I've worked with so many people. I can tell you that everyone has access to these inherent strengths inside. And also, at the same time, we do all have minds that fall into particular patterns of suffering too. So it's about getting the right evidence-based tools to help you work with whatever's happening in a life-affirming way, and then repeating those skills again and again and again. And that repetition is going to help you ingrain those skills, just like you would ingrain the skills of learning to drive a car or ride a bike. And if you do that with some repetition, they will become like second nature. So wherever you are, whatever you're going through, you can learn skills and get support to start shifting your mental health in the direction of wellness, but also being able to find resilience and peace starting wherever you are right away. So here's the really beautiful part as well. And this is why I say that true resilience really is like a wisdom-based practice. It really is a spiritual practice when you really begin to apply the tools, because when we can regulate our thoughts and emotions really skillfully, and we start to be able to tap into the wisdom in the deeper part of our nature, we also find that we tap into automatically the deeper qualities of our true nature that are already there within all of us. I call them the 7 strengths of the self, but they're qualities like love, like connection, a feeling of connection with life and other people, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of courage, and a higher perspective on things, a kind of clarity that we don't have when we're caught up in our mental clutter. There is an enormous reservoir of inner strength within each one of us. As I say in my book, there's a deeper part of you that is stronger than the fear and the mental clutter and the anxiety, and it's more enduring than any emotional storm or difficult circumstance. And that's the place that our deepest resilience comes from. So deep resilience doesn't make you immune to all life's difficulties. Heartbreak, loss, misfortunes, illness and pain are probably going to arise as a natural part of the flow of your life. But in the midst of any of these circumstances, as well as in the good times, when you're resilient, you have the tools and inner resources to navigate whatever you're facing with the best of who you are. So in, my life right now, just to give you an example, my cat, who is my best friend in the whole world, he is at the emergency vets right now. As I'm making this episode, I'm literally going to record this episode, and then I am going to get in my car and go visit him. He has an IV drip in his forearm. He has a catheter right now. He's been in hospital for days, and the situation is pretty touch and go. And I feel anxiety in some moments. I feel sad. I find myself bursting into tears. I feel at times really overwhelmed by trying to manage life while managing his health, and also the financial aspect of it's really tricky on top. The vet bills are a bit rough on the old wallet. But many years ago, I might have thought that if I was feeling stress, I was feeling anxiety, I was feeling sadness in the face of this, that it was a sign that I wasn't mindful enough, or I wasn't spiritual enough, or I wasn't strong enough. There's something wrong with me for feeling all of these emotions. That's kind of sad when I think back. So in other words, I was judging myself for feeling what are very, very natural human emotions to feel when a loved one is hurting or their life is in danger. Now, instead of judging myself or putting myself down or succumbing to a kind of stigma about feeling those feelings, I respond to them with the skills of deep resilience. I bring a kind of mindful, compassionate, and steady awareness to kind of embrace those emotions. But also at the same time, I dig into deeper resources that I have, like courage, and also a reflection on how much I love this little being, and how much that love really resources me to be at my best as he goes through this. And even though I feel those emotions, I'm also very proactively not, when my mind starts worrying about all kinds of what if scenarios could happen, and or it tries to blame me for doing things wrong and I should have done better, should have known better than to do certain things, and maybe I could have stopped this, and all of that stuff, I just note as unhelpful. And I have, the skills to unhook from those thoughts and ground myself back into the inner resources that help me to be at my best for him and stay as grounded and calm and, clear as I can during this. But those waves of sadness and anxiety still come. But with each wave, I'm just learning, I'm still practicing deep resilience every day. I'm in this as a practice. I'm not perfectly deeply resilient either. But even when I lose touch with my deepest resilience and I do tip into a kind of unhelpful thinking pattern, once I notice that, again, it's just a choice again and again and again to disconnect from what doesn't help, to reconnect with what does, and to see if I can access and act from that deeper strength. And it really is a kind of embodiment practice for those of us who have been on the path of mindfulness or personal growth for many years. It really is this embodiment of what many of us have experienced when meditating, and kind of like bringing that down into the ups and downs and the challenges and joys of everyday life. So in its essence, deep resilience is about living with awareness. Yeah. Living with wisdom. So it's only through cultivating that ability to notice and manage our thoughts and emotions and reconnect with our strengths and values that we can really tap into what's deepest, truest, and best in us. So wherever you are right now, I hope sharing this, my own story and sharing, clearing up what is, I think, one of the most dangerous misconceptions about what resilience is. And I hope this is helpful for you. Whether you feel well or whether you feel like your world is falling apart right now, just know this: there is a strength inside of you that has never left you. No matter what's going on for you, you can learn to access and act from it. You can meet the ups and downs and heartbreaks and triumphs of life with resilience, grace, and wisdom. And if you want more support with that in the near term, Calming Crisis will be really, really supportive for you. It's 5 days of practical tools I'm going to guide you through to help you meet life's hardest moments with the best tools available, wisdom-based, but evidence-backed tools for calm, clarity, and empowerment. The early bird special is on now. Link in the show notes. And yeah, in the meantime, just remember, you don't have to be feeling good all the time to be strong. You don't have to have it all together to be resilient, because your deepest resilience is a skill. It's a choice that you can make in any given moment of your life to meet life with dignity and empowerment and clarity. I hope you're enjoying this podcast series, You Are the Calm. If you want some more free tools to access your deepest resilience, there is a free Deep Resilience Care Package on offer in my website that can get you started. So that'll be in the show notes too. All right, I'll see you on the next episode of the podcast. Till then, take care and stay strong. If you know someone who you think might benefit from listening to this episode, share it with them. Sharing it could really help them to feel better and improve the quality of their life. And if you found this episode helpful, remember to subscribe to this podcast so that you can receive more tips on growing your inner strength and keep practicing along with us every week. And if you'd like some more support in becoming mentally, emotionally, and spiritually stronger, come check out the offerings I have to support you on my website at www.mellyobrien.com. As well as coaching and course options, I also have a bunch of free resources for you, including a free Deep Resilience Care Package, which you can begin to use right away to get some immediate relief from stress and suffering, improve your resilience and mental well-being, and help you navigate whatever you're going through with more wisdom, skill, and confidence. You can find the links for all of that in the show notes. Thanks again for tuning in. Take care and stay strong.